Your soulmate is trying to reach you right now. It's urgent, don't ignore this, stop scrolling for just a moment, because what you're about to hear may not be a coincidence. If this message has found you today, there is a reason. Out of millions of videos, countless distractions, and endless voices competing for your attention, something guided you here. Deep inside, your soul recognized a frequency before your mind could understand it. That uneasy feeling you've been carrying, those vivid dreams that refuse to fade, the unexpected memories of someone you've never truly known, they are not meaningless. They are invitations. They are whispers from a connection that has existed long before this moment. Your soulmate is not just someone you will eventually meet. They are someone whose energy is already searching for yours. Even if you've never seen their face, your souls may already be communicating in ways your conscious mind cannot yet explain. Every strange coincidence, every repeating number, every sudden wave of emotion, every unexplainable urge to go somewhere different or make a bold decision may be part of a much bigger picture unfold behind the scenes. The universe rarely announces life-changing moments with loud alarms. Instead, it sends gentle signals, quiet nudges, and mysterious synchronicities, waiting to see whether you will trust your intuition enough to follow them. But here's the warning. Most people miss the greatest love of their lives, not because destiny forgot them, but because they ignored the signs. They doubted themselves. They stayed trapped in old stories. They kept looking backward instead of preparing for what was already making its way toward them. Fear became louder than faith. Logic became louder than intuition. And because of that, opportunities passed unnoticed. Don't let that become your story. Right now, something is shifting. The season of waiting is beginning to close, and the season of alignment is opening before you. The person who is meant to walk beside you may be experiencing the very same pull at this exact moment. They may be wondering why they can't stop thinking about someone they haven't met. They may be healing, growing, and preparing just as you are. Two separate journeys are quietly moving toward one extraordinary meeting, guided by timing far greater than chance. This isn't about chasing someone. It isn't about forcing love or manipulating fate. It's about becoming so aligned with your highest self that love can recognize you the instant your paths cross. It is about listening to the inner voice you've ignored for too long, releasing the fears that no longer serve you, and stepping into the version of yourself that is fully ready to receive the relationship you've always desired. So, before you dismiss what you're about to hear as mere coincidence, ask yourself one question. What if this message is the very sign you've been waiting for? What if your soulmate has been trying to reach you through dreams, intuition, synchronicities, and unseen spiritual connections? And today is the day you finally understand what those signs have been trying to tell you. Stay with me until the very end, because what you're about to discover could completely transform the way you see love, destiny, and your own future. Your next chapter may already be unfolding, and your soulmate may be much closer than you ever imagined. The invisible connection is already awakening. Before two people ever meet physically, something far greater often begins to unfold beneath the surface. There is an invisible connection that cannot be measured by science or explained by logic alone. It is the quiet movement of your inner world, the subtle feeling that life is preparing you for someone important. Have you noticed that recently your thoughts have become different? Perhaps you find yourself imagining a future filled with peace instead of loneliness. Perhaps old memories are surfacing, not to hurt you, but to be released. Maybe you feel an unexplainable excitement for what's coming, even though nothing in your external circumstances has changed. These are often the moments when your inner world is shifting. When you begin changing internally, your perception changes, your decisions change, and the opportunities you notice begin to change as well. Whether you view this as spiritual alignment, personal growth, or the natural result of a transformed mindset, it creates space for new relationships to enter your life. Many people make the mistake of believing that love begins the day two strangers introduce themselves. But every meaningful relationship is influenced by the person you become before you ever meet. Long before a significant connection appears, you begin letting go of old fears, unhealthy patterns, limiting beliefs, and emotional burdens that once kept you from experiencing healthy love. Life has a remarkable way of teaching the lessons we need before we are ready for the next chapter. Every disappointment, every unanswered prayer, every season of waiting may have been shaping you into someone capable of giving and receiving love more deeply than before. Growth often feels uncomfortable because it asks you to release the familiar. Yet every step of healing creates room for something new. This is why so many people report experiencing unusual moments during seasons of personal transformation. They become more aware of recurring patterns, meaningful coincidences, unexpected opportunities, or intuitive nudges that encourage them to make different choices. Rather than treating these moments as guarantees of a destined outcome, it can be helpful to see them as reminders to stay present, hopeful, and open. Your mind begins noticing possibilities that it might once have overlooked. You start saying yes to experiences that fear would have rejected. You become more authentic, more peaceful, and more confident. These changes naturally affect the people you attract and the relationships you build. The most powerful realization is that the connection you seek does not begin with another person. It begins within you. The quality of your future relationship is deeply influenced by the relationship you have with yourself today. When you choose self-respect over self-doubt, hope over despair, forgiveness over bitterness, and courage over fear, you become emotionally available for the kind of partnership you have always desired. Instead of chasing love, you begin embodying the qualities that make lasting love possible. You stop asking, "When will they arrive?" and begin asking, "Who am I becoming while I wait?" That single shift transforms waiting into preparation. So if you have been feeling that something is changing within you, do not dismiss it simply because you cannot explain every detail. Continue growing, continue healing, continue becoming the person you are proud to be. Whether your next great relationship is just around the corner or still some distance away, every step you take toward becoming your healthiest, most authentic self is a step that prepares you to recognize and nurture genuine love when it appears. Sometimes the first sign that your future is changing is not what happens around you. It is the quiet transformation taking place within you. Why this moment feels so urgent. Your life is preparing for a new chapter. There are seasons in life when everything feels strangely different. You may not be able to explain it, but something inside you refuses to settle for the life you once accepted. The habits that used to comfort you no longer satisfy you. The relationships that once held your attention begin to lose their grip. Your priorities shift. Your dreams become clearer. It feels as though an invisible force is urging you to move forward, even when you cannot yet see where the road leads. These moments often signal that you are entering a period of profound personal transformation. Rather than viewing this urgency as proof that a specific person is trying to contact you, it can be understood as your inner self recognizing that your life is changing. Growth has a way of creating momentum, and when that momentum begins, standing still feels impossible. Many people mistake this inner urgency for anxiety or confusion, but there is an important difference. Anxiety is often rooted in fear about what might happen, while healthy urgency comes from the realization that you are ready to stop postponing the life you truly want. It is the quiet voice that says, "You can no longer remain the person you used to be." Perhaps you've been delaying difficult conversations, avoiding new opportunities, or holding on to old emotional wounds because they felt familiar. But now something inside you is asking for more. It is encouraging you to let go of what no longer serves your future so that you can make room for healthier experiences, deeper connections, and greater peace. One of the greatest obstacles to meaningful love is carrying the weight of yesterday into tomorrow. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every betrayal has the potential to convince you that history will repeat itself. But if you allow the past to define your expectations, you may overlook people who genuinely deserve your trust. This season of urgency may be inviting you to examine those beliefs honestly. Are you protecting your heart or are you imprisoning it? Are you waiting wisely, or are you hiding behind fear? The answers to those questions can shape every relationship that follows. The remarkable thing about personal transformation is that it rarely happens all at once. It unfolds through small decisions repeated consistently. You begin choosing peace instead of constant drama. You speak to yourself with greater kindness. You forgive without forgetting the lessons you've learned. You invest your energy in growth instead of resentment. Slowly, almost without noticing, you become someone who approaches love from a place of confidence rather than desperation. That inner change affects the way you communicate, the boundaries you establish, and the people you naturally attract into your life. This is why the moment feels urgent, not because you should panic or believe you have only one chance at happiness, but because your present choices are shaping your future relationships. Every day you spend becoming more emotionally healthy, more self-aware, and more authentic increases your ability to recognize genuine love when it appears. Life often presents opportunities to those who are prepared to receive them. Preparation is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming willing to grow. So don't ignore the stirring within you. Let it inspire action rather than fear. Read the book you've been putting off. Learn the lesson that keeps repeating. Heal the wound you've avoided. Take the step you've been afraid to take. Trust that every act of growth is moving you toward a richer, more meaningful future. Whether your soulmate enters your life tomorrow or much later, the person you are becoming today is laying the foundation for the relationship you hope to build. The urgency is not a signal to chase love. It is a reminder to become fully alive, fully present, and fully ready for the extraordinary possibilities that await you. The signs you should never ignore. Your intuition may be guiding you. One of the greatest gifts you possess is your intuition. It is that quiet inner knowing that often speaks long before logic catches up. Unlike fear, which shouts and demands your attention, intuition usually arrives as a gentle whisper. It nudges rather than pushes. It invites rather than forces. Throughout life, there may be moments when you suddenly feel inspired to take a different route home, attend an event you almost skipped, reconnect with an old friend, or begin a hobby that has always interested you. Looking back, many people realize that these seemingly ordinary choices opened the door to extraordinary opportunities. While it is important not to assume that every coincidence has a hidden supernatural meaning, paying thoughtful attention to recurring patterns and inner convictions can help you make decisions that are more aligned with your values and aspirations. Your intuition becomes stronger when it is grounded in wisdom, self-awareness, and a willingness to learn from experience. Have you ever noticed that certain themes keep appearing in your life? Perhaps you repeatedly hear the same encouraging message from different people who have never met each other. Maybe a particular idea continues returning to your mind, refusing to disappear no matter how busy you become. You might feel drawn toward a new environment, a different career path, or a healthier way of living. These recurring impressions often deserve reflection, not because they guarantee a specific outcome, but because they may reveal what your heart has been trying to tell you. Growth often begins with repeated invitations to change. The question is whether you are willing to listen before life is forced to speak more loudly. Another sign you should never ignore is the desire to become a better version of yourself. Genuine love does not begin by changing another person. It begins by transforming the way you see yourself. When you start valuing your peace more than unnecessary conflict, your confidence more than constant approval, and your purpose more than temporary distractions, something remarkable happens. You begin attracting healthier relationships because you are making healthier choices. You become less willing to settle for connections built on insecurity or emotional games, and more open to relationships founded on honesty, respect, and mutual encouragement. The transformation starts within long before it becomes visible on the outside. Dreams, moments of inspiration, and meaningful coincidences can also become opportunities for self-reflection. Some people experience vivid dreams that encourage them to let go of old fears. Others find themselves repeatedly thinking about forgiveness, healing, or taking a courageous step forward. These experiences should not be treated as certain predictions of the future, but they can serve as valuable reminders to examine your emotions, priorities, and direction in life. Instead of asking, "What does this guarantee?" a more helpful question is, "What is this inviting me to learn?" That shift keeps you grounded while remaining open to personal growth. The most important sign, however, is the peace that comes when you stop forcing what was never meant for you. There is incredible freedom in releasing the need to control every outcome. When you trust the process of becoming your healthiest and most authentic self, you no longer chase people who continually walk away or cling to relationships that drain your spirit. Instead, you create space for connections that are built on mutual care, shared values, and genuine commitment. Love flourishes where authenticity is welcomed, not where fear dictates every decision. So if you feel that something within you is awakening, do not dismiss it simply because it cannot be fully explained. Slow down enough to hear your own thoughts. Pay attention to the choices that bring lasting peace instead of temporary excitement. Let your intuition be guided by wisdom, character, and hope. Every step you take toward greater self-awareness is preparing you not only to recognize meaningful love when it appears, but also to build a relationship that is strong enough to endure life's challenges. The signs that matter most are often the ones that gently lead you back to the truest version of yourself. Become the person your soulmate is hoping to find. One of the greatest misconceptions about finding a soulmate is believing that the journey is entirely about discovering the right person. In reality, the deeper journey is becoming the right person. Before any lasting relationship can flourish, there is an inner transformation that must take place. Love is not simply something that arrives from the outside to rescue you from loneliness or complete what is missing within. Healthy love grows when two people who are committed to personal growth, emotional maturity, and authenticity choose to walk together. If you spend all your energy wondering where your soulmate is while neglecting your own growth, you may overlook the most important preparation of all. The question is not only, when will I meet them, but also, who am I becoming before that meeting ever takes place? Think about the qualities you hope your soulmate possesses. You probably want someone who is trustworthy, emotionally available, kind, patient, honest, supportive, and resilient during life's challenges. Now ask yourself an even more powerful question. Are you intentionally cultivating those same qualities within yourself? Lasting relationships are strengthened not merely by attraction, but by shared character. If you desire peace, become a source of peace. If you desire loyalty, practice loyalty. If you long for understanding, learn to listen with compassion. The energy you consistently invest in your own character shapes the kind of relationships you are prepared to build. While no one is perfect, intentional growth creates a foundation that can support genuine intimacy. One of the most important parts of this preparation is releasing the emotional baggage that no longer belongs in your future. Every painful experience leaves behind lessons, but it should not define your identity forever. If you continue carrying resentment from old betrayals, fear from past disappointments, or insecurity from former relationships, you risk viewing every new person through the lens of yesterday's wounds. Healing does not mean pretending the pain never happened. It means allowing the experience to teach you wisdom without allowing it to control your future. Forgiveness, healthy boundaries, and self-respect are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you are choosing freedom over bitterness. Another essential step is learning to enjoy your own life instead of placing your happiness entirely in the hands of another person. When you pursue meaningful goals, nurture healthy friendships, care for your physical and emotional well-being, and continue developing your gifts, you become someone who is living with purpose rather than waiting for permission to be happy. Ironically, people who are deeply engaged in creating fulfilling lives often become more attractive partners because they radiate confidence, gratitude, and authenticity. They seek relationships that enrich an already meaningful life, rather than expecting another person to carry the weight of their happiness. There is also tremendous value in trusting timing. instead of forcing outcomes. Desperation often leads people to ignore warning signs, compromise their values, or remain in relationships that diminish their peace. Patience, on the other hand, allows wisdom to guide your decisions. It reminds you that the right relationship is not built through pressure, but through mutual respect, consistent effort, and shared commitment. Rather than chasing every possibility out of fear that you might miss your chance, focus on becoming someone who recognizes healthy love when it appears and has the courage to nurture it well. So if it feels as though your soulmate is drawing closer, let that thought inspire you to continue becoming your best self rather than encouraging anxiety about the future. Every act of kindness, every lesson learned, every fear released, and every step toward emotional maturity prepares you for a relationship that is built to last. The most meaningful love stories are not created by two perfect people finding each other. They are created by two imperfect people who chose to grow, heal, and become the kind of partners they had been hoping to find. As you continue that journey, you may discover that the greatest gift you received while waiting was not simply meeting the right person, but becoming one. Answer the call. Your next chapter begins with a single decision. Every meaningful journey in life eventually arrives at a defining moment, a moment when preparation must become action. You can spend years learning about love, reflecting on your past, healing emotional wounds, and imagining the future. But there comes a time when you must step forward with courage. If you truly believe that your life is changing, then your actions should begin to reflect that belief. The greatest opportunities often appear disguised as ordinary moments. A conversation with a stranger, an unexpected invitation, a decision to forgive, a willingness to try something new, or the courage to release a chapter that has already ended. These moments may seem small at first, yet they have the power to redirect the course of your entire life. Rather than waiting for certainty about every outcome, choose to respond to the opportunities that align with your values, your wisdom, and your hope for the future. Many people miss life-changing relationships not because they were unworthy of love, but because fear convinced them to remain where it felt safe. They allowed disappointment to become their identity. They assumed that every future relationship would repeat the pain of the past. They stopped trusting themselves, stopped opening their hearts, and stopped believing that something beautiful could still happen. Yet every sunrise reminds us that life is built on new beginnings. Yesterday may explain why you feel cautious, but it does not have to determine where you are going next. The future is not created by endlessly replaying old stories. It is shaped by the choices you make today. If your intuition has been encouraging you to grow, to let go, to become healthier, or to approach life with renewed purpose, do not ignore those invitations. Whether you interpret them as spiritual guidance, inner wisdom, or the natural result of personal growth, they deserve your attention. Begin saying yes to the experiences that help you become more authentic. Strengthen your character, expand your perspective, build relationships rooted in honesty and mutual respect, invest in your dreams, care for your mind, body, and spirit. Every positive decision you make increases your readiness for the meaningful connections that may lie ahead. Remember that genuine love is not about finding someone to rescue you from emptiness. It is about two whole individuals choosing to walk together with shared purpose, compassion, and commitment. The healthiest relationships are not sustained by constant excitement alone, but by trust, communication, patience, forgiveness, and the willingness to grow through every season of life. As you become emotionally stronger and more self-aware, you naturally become more capable of recognizing relationships that reflect those same qualities. You stop chasing what is temporary and begin appreciating what is lasting. There is also great wisdom in releasing the need to control every detail of your future. Not every unanswered question requires an immediate answer. Sometimes the next step becomes visible only after you take the one directly in front of you. Trust does not mean ignoring reality or abandoning wisdom. It means refusing to let uncertainty keep you from living fully. Continue making choices that align with integrity, kindness, and courage, even when you cannot yet see the complete picture. The path often becomes clearer as you continue walking. So if this message has awakened something within you, let it become more than a passing moment of inspiration. Let it become a commitment to live differently. Wake each morning with gratitude. Speak words that build rather than destroy. Release the burdens that no longer belong to your future. Stay open to new experiences, meaningful conversations, and unexpected opportunities. Believe that your life can continue to grow in beautiful and surprising ways without assuming exactly how or when everything will unfold. Your next chapter does not begin the day you meet your soulmate. It begins the day you decide to become the fullest expression of who you are meant to be. When you answer that call with courage, wisdom, and an open heart, you prepare yourself not only for a remarkable relationship, but for a remarkable life. And sometimes, the greatest miracle is not simply that love finds you, it is that you become ready to receive it with confidence, peace, and unwavering hope.